Is that how you were introduced to NXIVM of like, oh, you can find this inner peace, you can find this joy?
Mm-hmm.
How was it presented to you?
Yeah, so I'd had that spiritual awakening through meditation, and that kind of set me on a different track. And it was really like feeling the darkness, even if I couldn't put my finger on what it was, but just my body rejecting it and wanting light. And it was like I touched light. I was like, well, what are we doing? Like that's what that's all about.
Yeah.
That's what pure expression is about. It's like being free and feeling light and joyful. Yeah, so I was kind of on that spiritual journey doing this meditation and really in a place of like, what next? And I should probably just like quit Hollywood and go and live in an ashram for like 3 years or something. That was the point I was at.
Yeah.
And then I met Mark. So crazily enough, actually, a psychic had told me to contact him because we knew each other already.
Okay.
But it was just like a little contact. And yeah, this psychic, there's a lot of like psychics involved with how we kind of connected. But this psychic said, Mark Vicente, you must contact him. And so I got back to LA from Australia and I reached out and we had tea. And in that moment, I would say like we felt that connection really strongly, although I didn't put it together until after actually. Then it hit me afterwards. I was like, oh, this is the guy that you're spending your life with. After one tea, it was like...
Oh my God, I just got goosebumps.
Yeah, right. There was a lot of like kind of intuitive feelings about it. It just hit me and it took him a second to realize that. I think because there's an age gap. There's like 18 years.
Oh, really?
Yeah, he's 18 years older.
Okay.
Yeah, so he was like, I don't know. I mean, but then he did feel it too. And so we fell in love that week. And then he told me about ESP and I just was like wide open. I was like, what are you doing? Because I could feel from him that there was such a genuine presence and connection. I was like, that's rare.
How long had he been involved in it before he brought you in?
At that point, I think he'd been in for 3 years.
Okay, so he's pretty involved.
Very.
Steeped in it.
Yeah, absolutely. And like really trying to get the word out and bring people in. And
right.
But, you know, at a certain point, I think for all of us, it started to feel like we love this thing, but something's off.
Sure.
But he was still at that point, I think, where it just felt really, really like totally pure for him of this thing's amazing, come.
Yeah.
And I was like, great, I need to get out of Hollywood.
What were your first impressions of that intensive?
I loved it. Yeah. And also like I'd been in other kind of, you know, programs and things that were kind of culty.
Uh-huh.
And so I heard that it was like, you know, potentially culty. And I was like, yeah, but what is that? Like they're good people. I didn't have a definition for what that was.
Yeah.
And so, in the intensive, I mean, it was a lot of really fun people that were just like playful and digging into stuff that I hadn't talked about before, like deep feelings and limiting beliefs. And we had a lot of fun. We were just like laughing up in this mansion in the Palisades. And it was like, I found my people compared to that darkness and that emptiness that I'd been feeling.
Do you think looking back, that feeling of elation and everyone kind of on the same page and wanting to do the healing work, do you think that it was just the case of people in that headspace of therapy, of let's just be open and talk about things that no one talks about in Hollywood, right? It's so superficial in Hollywood. And then you get to this place where everyone's like, let's be open. Do you think that's what it was that really drew you to it?
Partially, yeah. You could talk about anything. It was like just your deepest, darkest feelings, all of it. But also like a lot of the like tech was stolen from psychology and everything. So I don't think that it's original. But there were like shifts that they were helping people through and different awarenesses that I was having that were like aha moments, like epiphanies, things were shifting. And that was unlocking some joy for me too. So I was like, whoa, like this is amazing. And I found myself like way more productive. I was getting stuff done. And so I just felt like the goodness of that in the first intensive. And there were red flags, like looking back, I can see.
What would you think?
I had a friend kind of early on, a little bit after that, but fairly early on, who was a bit more serious about the cult stuff. And she was like, look, I've read a lot because there were some articles out then.
Oh, okay.
I don't know if there was the blog Frank Report, but there were a couple of articles. I think there was like a Forbes article or something. And so she said, look, I love you. I just want to make sure that you're okay. And, you know, I find that often where there's smoke, there's fire. And just, you know, check it out. And we talked it through. And actually, she ended up joining.
No way.
Yeah, I was like, I don't know, like these people are amazing. Exactly. So I brought her in and she came to Albany.
Well, I'm sure that also shifted your mindset because you're like, well, if she's okay with it, then clearly it's fine. Like we've already figured that part out. It's fine.
Yeah. And she actually didn't stick around. I think she did feel problems and kind of left. And we talked about it later.
Okay.
But she tried. And, you know, she tried to get through to me. What else? Yeah, just like the awareness that there were those articles. And then when I landed in Albany, like I will say, like some of the darker stuff that happened pretty like right away was suddenly I found myself in this ridiculous singing group. Do you know about that?
I think it's
so stupid.
Vaguely ringing a bell.
Yeah, Simply Human.
Okay.
I could say a lot about that. I better not. But it was just such a bad singing group. And so I came from this like real professional career, almost had like EMI North America record deal, like proud of my album, even though it got kind of tweaked in ways I didn't love in the end. I was still really proud of it. And then now I'm in this singing group where I won't name names, but there was a lot of like pitches couldn't match. And so like you're trying to pick a pitch because this person's over here.
Oh no.
And I'm like,
how do I harmonize with this?
Yeah. And then Keith Raniere would also like, it was just like degrading. So all the stuff they could do to make you feel bad about yourself. And then I became Claire Bronfman's assistant. And that also felt dark. I struggled with that.
Was it just the workload or expectations?
I think, again, it was just intuitive. I mean, I guess there was kind of, I'd say, a coldness to her, very uptight and stiff. And I always just felt like I was in trouble.
Yeah.
And she was high rank and kind of connected to the high ranks and Keith. And I guess I went into this role of like feeling unworthy and kind of constantly correcting myself and just feeling terrible about myself.
Yeah.
And there was all the feedback that she'd give me, and it felt like a nasty headmistress.
And can you describe for people who don't know what it is, the programs or the tech, I guess you could say, that they would perform to keep you in this unworthy feeling state?
Yeah. So a lot of the tech was like helping you unlock things to feel more confident, but within that was like this sneaky kind of programming where you just were constantly judging yourself. And it's like, I need to see my flaws to be a responsible human being. So like, how am I failing? Constantly taking feedback from everyone. And that just ends up beating you down. And that was kind of the culture of like, the done thing is to just beat yourself up and take on all these judgments about who you are. Yeah. So I think everyone felt more and more like terrible about themselves.
What would feedback actually look like? Someone walking up to you and be like, Bonnie, I think you need to be humble. Was it something like that?
Sometimes it was pretty direct and just kind of out of nowhere. And you had to be open to it, because if you were defensive, then you'd get more feedback about how you're not going to progress on the straight path, which was like the path.
Yeah.
So you had, like, if you wanted to progress and ever have a career in it or anything, like ever make any money, you would have to kind of get in line and take the feedback and then do the breach work. So see how to correct whatever was faulty in you.
Yeah.
So you're like, for years, like going on like, why am I so bad kind of thing.
Yeah.
Yeah. And it was interwoven with the good stuff too, like the good breakthroughs. And then just that. And there were certain people that would come in and stab you a lot more. Nancy Salzman was a...
Really? She was one that would be really negative to people? Yeah.
And I do want to say that I feel for her too. I have seen what she's been through. So not to like downplay that and her role in the company and what that did to her. But you would share your heart and soul if you were struggling with something. And she'd get you to a place of like that deep empty place or like feeling unsafe or something. And then come in with feedback of like, and like accusing you of stuff